Hey everybody, so I'm here just to give a quick update of what's been going on with me. Went back to the doctor today to do like my pelvic ultrasound and everything to see what's going on, to see if I actually have cysts or not, and possible endometriosis. So I just want to give a quick update of what's going on with that, what to expect, what I'm just kind of preparing for, what I'm going through, how keto is going, and give an update on that, and see what's going on. So went back to the doctor today and to do another follow-up, and again, like I said, to go over some ultrasound information to actually do the ultrasound. So I went today, and I'm down 4 pounds since my last visit. Yes, it was a month ago, so it was not a rapid weight loss or anything like that, but weight loss is weight loss. I'm taking that. I am going with that, especially when it wasn't my strongest month like I wanted it to be. So I'm taking the 4 pounds and I'm going with it. The doctor was happy with it, so it's been about 4 weeks since I've been, so a pound a week is what they're basically saying, so that's good. So I did my pelvic ultrasound today, and they had a hard time finding my ovaries. Couldn't actually find them easily, like at all. Found the left one and no cysts. Couldn't actually find my right one. It wasn't cooperating apparently. But as of right now, I have no cysts, so that is good. The doctor is thinking that with me being on birth control since I was on it's like 15, a very young age, that's caused me to not have cysts. So side note to that, that does not mean that I do not have PCOS. I still have PCOS, but I am one of those few that have PCOS without the actual cysts. So like I did talk about in one of my other videos that there are about 5 different types of PCOS, and one of those is not having cysts, and that's the one that I have. Because again, you can have the insulin resistance, you can have the acne and all the other issues and not actually have cysts, and that's currently what I'm going through. And again, like I said, I've been on birth control since about 15 years old. So they're thinking that, after being on it for like, 13 years, that probably actually helped me not create cysts. So I guess my doctors back in the day, my primary care was actually taking care of the issues without knowing what PCOS was. So I guess that's kind of a, good on them for that one part. So that's good. My uterus, though, they think is a little bit big. So again, some of this is going to get a little personal. If you're uncomfortable with it, just hit stop. But I want people to know what's going on, especially if they're going through it for the first time and not knowing what's going on. So apparently my uterus is a little bit enlarged. Not much, but it's on the scale of where it starts to get too big. And they're thinking that is an indicator of the endometriosis, because what happens is they can only tell for sure by doing surgery, but they can kind of guesstimate maybe you might have it by doing the ultrasound and saying, okay, if it's measuring this big, then we know over a certain limit this actually is maybe an indicator of endometriosis, because it's the cells sticking to inside of the uterus and making that enlarged. So they still do think I might have that, based on other symptoms plus that. So now my next step is actually going back to the doctor in a few weeks, about 6 weeks, and doing more labs. Yay me. So I won't be actually seeing the actual doctor there for talking about the surgery until like August. So I'm a ways out. I've been talking about the surgery and seeing if I want to do it. And they also think I have a hernia on my left side, possibly also my right side. Didn't really go into much of what could it be, like how it happened or how big it might be. They're not really sure. They're sending me to a general surgeon for that. But the good news is that they'll do both surgeries at once. So they'll check on the endometriosis, remove the endometriosis, and fix the hernia at the same time. So that's good news. One copay, yay. But that could also be where some of my pain is coming from, which I thought was from my ovaries hurting from cysts. It actually might be the hernia. Crazy turn of events, right? So there's that. Went over my labs that I took a few weeks back. went over those. My B12 is actually looking amazing, so that's like a first ever for me, because my B12 is always extremely low, but I've been doing the liquid B12 in the mornings. So if your B12 is low, I recommend doing that in the mornings. But I'm not doing just the B12, it's the Super B complex that I am doing that is causing my B12 to rise. So when I was doing just regular B12 before, of any type of form of like the liquid sublinguals I did before, the pills, I've done the nose spray, which apparently is only for bariatric patients, but I was on a step therapy program. I did that. I did the shot injections, and I wasn't really absorbing any of it until I did the sublingual Super B complex. And there's very noisy in my bathroom. But I also do. I feel a lot better taking that in the morning. So I don't take it. I feel like if I were to drink coffee, I don't drink coffee. I'm weird. But if I were to drink coffee, I feel like that's kind of what I would feel like without having that throughout the day. I don't really drink Coke Zero anymore. I do from time to time occasionally, but when I didn't have a Coke Zero, I would get a really bad caffeine headache. That's kind of the equivalent of what's happening to me if I don't do my B12 in the morning. So great reminder to take it. My vitamin D, though, is exactly the same, even though I am taking my dosage of vitamin D every day. So I have to up that. I'm doing 2 now a day in the morning. So basically, be like about 10,000 I use a day is what I'm going to have to do, because it's staying right at like 30 something. It has not changed. I've always had horrible vitamin D. As you can see, I'm very pasty. Very pasty. So I don't absorb it very well. I don't go into the sun too often, and when I do, I have to apply tons and tons and tons of sunscreen because I burn like a mother, as you can see. So yeah, so I'm doing that. Also, I was doing the estrogen pills. I was doing half tablet in the morning, half tablet in the afternoon, called estradiol. Apparently, that's not working for me. My estrogen has stayed exactly the same. And so now we're upping that dosage and gonna do 1 pill in the morning, 1 pill in the afternoon, and it's 0.5 milligrams for each dose. So now I'll be like 0.10 or whatever, I guess, a day. On top of my birth control, which I've changed again recently, and I'm doing trying to do continuous every day for 3 months and see how that works again. Because before it didn't work out for me, I was having issues in between, and my primary care took me off of that, but now this doctor is trying it with a different type of birth control on top of the estradiol. So hoping for good results, because when I do have my cycle, it's not fun. It's extremely painful. Extremely moody. You know, some of the people that I know. Love you guys. But yeah, so, if I only have to do that once every 3 months, I would much rather do that than every month, because that's just exhausting. But you do still, if you've never done it before, I do recommend doing it if your doctor thinks it's a good idea for you. But just something to be aware of is sometimes you still go through some of those symptoms even though you're not actually having a cycle. So you might still have some of the cramping, you might still have the irritability, things like that, especially when you're starting off in the beginning of trying to get used to 3 months. Your body's still like, hey, something should be happening right now, and it's not, and I don't know why. So it's still going through, hey, cramping, this and this and this. So, just be aware of that when you're going through it. What else? So the estradiol I'm up to 2 metformin a day. So I take 1 at lunch and 1 at dinner. I'm not sure if I went up with that, guys, with you. I'm about to start doing 3 a day. I'm going to try it this weekend. But one good thing that she did mention that I didn't think about was I'm thinking 3 a day, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. She told me I could do 1 for lunch and then 2 for dinner. So I'm going to try it out. That's only with extended release, though. If you don't have extended release, apparently it doesn't work the same. You need to do it at every, meal of the day like that. But for extended release, she suggested to do 2 at dinner. So I'm going to try that this weekend. But again, I'm doing it this weekend when I'm at home. And if I get extremely sick, I'm at home. So it'll be okay. Don't want to do that during a work week. That'd be a good idea. Again, I'm going to be a little bit personal on some of the stuff with you guys. Because again, if some of you are just going through this and never had it before, you need somebody to be level with you and be real. And I'm trying to be as real as I can be. I promise. This stuff sucks. It does. I have not walked into that doctor's office one time without leaving to say I need more blood work done, and I hate blood work. My veins are the worst to get blood from. Like, they always roll, and it takes her forever to get it out. It usually does, like the small ones versus the big ones, to get the blood drawn. But we get it done. So yeah, so that's been extremely frustrating. So let's move on and talk about keto. It's going. We'll say that. People can say they see it in my face. I appreciate all the compliments about that. It does make me feel good and makes me want to keep going on this. Like I've said before, and I'll say it again, I feel so much better when I'm doing it. And you think that would just be like an obvious, like, boom, like, just this is what you need to do, just do it and don't stop doing it. But I have. And I've done it before, and I'm probably not going to promise that I'm not going to do it again. It's probably going to happen again because life happens, or you need that stress comfort food that you can't overcome, and it sucks like a lot because you want to be like, just do it, just do keto, just do no carbs. It's super easy, and some people it is super easy. But I did learn some stuff today that makes it interesting as to why I crave carbs all the time. Because some people are like, oh, I'm such a sweet tooth. I have a sweet tooth. Sometimes I have a sweet tooth. But craving carbs apparently is a part of insulin resistance. So your body spikes up the insulin and you crave those carbs, you crave the sweets, things like that, which makes sense in essence because, your body wants it. And I know people crave carbs without being insulin resistant. I'm not stupid. I get that. But that is a major side effect of people with insulin resistance, what my doctor was telling me today. So that is fascinating information because, it's just interesting. And then I made a joke to her about how, some people said that, we were going over about how some people can lose tons of weight and they'll be, this big around and never gain a weight. And I'm like, yeah, I look at a dessert and I gain a pound. Sometimes that can happen just by looking at something sweet or carb loaded that you want because your insulin resistance spikes up and then your body holds on to it and contains it as fat. Yeah, that sucks. So it's not just oh, I really want it. My body's like, yeah, we really want it, and we're gonna hold on to this piece of fat until you give it to us. Jerks. So yeah, that's what I'm fighting with on my end. So some people are like, oh, it's so easy to lose 10 pounds. To a normal person, it might be, but to me, unfortunately, not quite as easy. Yes, I'm not saying that I haven't done things to, like, fail myself, I guess you could say, but like, eating this or eating that, that's not my plan. Not my keto plan and, whatever. Yeah, I get it. I've done stuff to myself to not be fully keto. I'm just saying that there's other factors in the way, even if I were to just eat, breathe, sleep, drink keto, I guess you could say that, that I have other factors included in that. And, I know it's going to be a slow process. And right now, as long as like in the long run, I'm not gaining when I go to my doctor, I'm happy. Because they're happy with that. They think that's great. So I need to be okay with that as well. Like, yeah, I would love to shred 20 pounds in a month, but obviously for me, that's not a realistic goal. For some people on keto, it is. No problem. I love looking at people's like before and after pictures on keto Facebooks and stuff. So like if you're doing that, rock it out. That's awesome. But yeah, for me, unfortunately, it happens. And obviously this has gotten worse the older I've gotten. I've not always been this heavy. But your body starts to change when you get older and not always able to resist the things that it was able to when you were younger. So from what they can see, I've had this for a long time, but it's starting to form and morph into something else now that I'm getting older and starting to show its ugly side. So I had some of the cute little symptoms. I say cute little symptoms because, like, oh, they're just tough periods and you're just having migraines. That type of stuff when I was younger. And now that I'm older, it's formed into something completely different. So again, I know I've said it before. I'm going to say it a million times over, and I will tell anybody else a million times over. If you're having any of these symptoms and they continue to persist and you don't feel like something is right, keep searching, keep digging, because it might be something more. It might be nothing. It might just be you have sucky periods, and that's it. But it might be more than that. It might be you have insulin resistance like I do. You might actually have cysts like I don't. You might have endometriosis like I may or may not have, which again, is only really 100% found out by surgery. So let's talk about that for a second. So I'm going to go talk to them about the surgery, and possibly start thinking about doing that. But that's not going to be until like September, October, November timeframe that I would have the surgery. Just because between their way their calendar is looking and how mine's looking for, for work and stuff. But it's going to get done this year because, don't want to lose my money. My HSA, just saying. But it's gonna get done this year. That's my goal for this year, is to make sure I get majority of this stuff at least somewhat figured out. So that way, 19, I'm figured out, not always running around looking for answers, and I can just kind of start to fully heal myself. 2018 is all about answers right now. 2019 is gonna be about progress and bettering myself. That's what I'm declaring. Yes, of course, I'm bettering myself now by finding out the answers and things like that, and not taking no at the first glance. But just fully dedicating to that. What else real quick? So like I said, surgery on the upcoming, keto, gonna keep ketoing on, changing up my prescriptions and stuff, and doing more lab work. So yeah, again, I appreciate the constant help everybody's giving me, your support, and kind words, things like that. And again, if some people are watching this, I know there's worse things than PCOS sometimes, but sometimes that's your worst, you know what I mean? And I totally sympathize and empathize with people that are going through worse things. I get it, but right now this is my worst thing, and it's frustrating when you can't get all the answers that you want. And I'm sure if you're going through something different, you've experienced that with what you're going through, and it's hard, and it's hard to explain it to people sometimes, and it's hard to talk to when people don't get it, and they think it's just this or it's just that, or you can hide this or you can hide that, or you can change your attitude about it, and sometimes you can't. It's just you mentally and physically cannot overcome it, and not at that moment. Full long run, yes, I'm not going to let this get to me, and I'm going to keep going, but some days are hard, really hard, and it just hits you, and you're like, dang, this sucks, and this is a lifelong situation. Now, which brings me to another point, is some people have said that they have seen that PCOS is cured by weight loss and exercise. And I'm here to tell you, from what I've learned again today, is that that's not the case. It can be treated, it can be helped, it might suppress it, but it's always going to be there. And the analogy that my doctor gave me today is like, a smoker. A lot of people go through the rest of their lives, if they, smoked or whatever, and they stopped, they go the rest of their lives struggling to not smoke. So, kind of same thing with me is, if I were to exercise and diet all the time, and all of a sudden I stop, it's going to show up right back up again. And even with exercising, I have to be careful, because there's certain things I can't do that's going to cause my body to kind of relapse and make it worse for me. So like cardio is not going to always be a great idea for me. Walking is fine, but like running, things like that, not really a good idea long term. Lifting some weights occasionally is fine. So it's all about just the hormones and the way they balance out and things like that. So yeah, just trying to find me in this whole mess. So yeah, I'm gonna kind of leave it at that for now. If you guys have any questions about anything, or have any cool ideas for keto recipes you want to swing over to me, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to try them. We got an Instant Pot, so I'm excited to keep trying that out. I've had some fail meats in it lately, but if you have anything, send them to me. Today is Monday, so you'll have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you later. Peace.